I Got the Hell Out does contain explicit content that might not be suitable for some listeners, such as children, those that easily get offended, and we do recommend that listeners at work put your earbuds in if you have coworkers around.
And if you like the show, please spread the word by telling as many people as you can. Would also appreciate if you would subscribe, rate, hopefully with 5 stars, and review the podcast on iTunes. You can find us there as well as on Stitcher and Overcast. You can follow us on Twitter at @wasinaCult, on Facebook at I Got the Hell Out, and on Instagram at I Got the Hell Out with an underscore after each word. You can contact us through our website at IGotTheHellOut.com.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
And this is Laura.
And this is I Got the Hell Out. Well, how are you today, Laura?
Oh, I'm just great. How are you?
I'm okay. Usually we're laughing and joking about this point, but today we're going to talk about how it's sometimes okay to not be okay.
And that's me, not okay.
I'm pretty much not okay sometimes too with the things going on in my life, and try to be kind to everyone because you never know what they're going through.
Exactly. And sometimes even if you can give someone a smile, that might be the only one they get all day.
Exactly. And I've even said to you, do my phone calls help you, or do they make you feel more down afterwards? But I think pretty much the only thing you can really do is be there for people.
Exactly. And sometimes what a person needs one day is different than what they need the next day.
Yes, and me telling you we'll just get over it and feel happy doesn't do anything.
No, phrases like that are just like, would you shut the hell up?
That's like telling somebody with a broken leg, well, just walk it off, walk it off.
Walk it off.
Yeah, walk it
exactly,
off.
Exactly. Cheer up.
Yeah, so everyone out there, just please remember to be kind to everyone, and for everybody going through something out there, you may not be happy every day, but there's probably something a little bit to be happy for in each day. Yeah,
sometimes you just have to look really damn hard.
Well, that's okay. The fact that I'm still able to get up and go to the bathroom and not have to wear Depends some days is enough for me. Yay, I got out of bed. I don't have to lay there and feel sorry for myself. I can't even pee in the toilet anymore.
Oh my god. Oops, so that's the podcast. No.
Anyway, on an unrelated note, for some reason I was up on Google last night pretty late, and for some reason I couldn't figure out how cabbages reproduce.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
They don't have seeds. They don't grow on
Wait,
vines.
back up. Why? Why were you looking up this?
I have no idea, but just the thought in my head was, how do cabbages reproduce?
Sure.
So, yeah, I have no idea. So I Googled it, and apparently...
Oh, you're going to tell us?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, after you harvest your cabbage, in the harvest time. Yeah.
Garden? It's called a garden, Debbie. It's called a garden.
At harvest time, you have to keep it till the springtime, and then you have to replant your cabbage head. Okay. It says, the cabbage plant sends a flower seed stalk directly out of the cabbage core. In the early spring, you would replant your plants, leaving 2 to 3 feet in between them. They will then produce the seed stalk directly from the center of the plant. More worthless knowledge.
Alrighty then.
So in order to get more cabbages, you have to replant your cabbages. I'm not getting this.
I would just go to a store personally, but...
And buy a cabbage.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Maybe it was because I was thinking about things you could regrow from scraps in the kitchen. That's probably it. How do you regrow cabbage?
Sure. Well, whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, last night...
What did you do?
Well, when you were researching cabbages... my daughter and I, as usual, were like the Olympic addicts. Like, we will watch the Olympics. We tape them. Well, I guess nowadays it's DVR. I'm showing my age. But we just watch the Olympics nonstop. And there was the best quote I have ever heard in my life from the skater. He is actually from Pennsylvania. Adam Rippon.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. So some guy said to him, on the ice, you see the rings. What's going through your mind? Okay?
So what's going through his mind?
He says, I want to throw up. I want to go over to the judges and say, can I just have a Xanax and a quick drink? I'll be fine. Best
Xanax and drink.
quote ever.
Damn.
Best quote ever. But have you watched any of the Olympics?
I've watched some of it. I don't really get into it. I guess I'm...
Okay, I just want to say curling. I want to go curling. I don't know if there's a place
Wait a minute,
in
is this where you do it with the brooms and a
The
big...
brooms, like you sweep. There's rocks and you sweep with the brooms. Absolutely.
It just looks like the most boringest thing in the world.
No, but I don't know if there's a place in Pittsburgh. If there's a place in Pittsburgh and anyone wants to go curling with me, I will go.
Okay.
I just want to sweep in front of those little stones because why not?
It just seems boring to me. I'm sorry.
Well, then, okay.
Give me a luge. Now you stick
I was just going to say, how about the luge? There's that and there's the skeleton.
I don't know what the skeleton is.
Okay, picture a luge sled, but instead of going down feet first, head first.
Is that the one that that girl wiped out?
When?
I don't know. It was a single looking little slutty
Yeah, it's like a little sled.
Little slutty thing.
Would you say a slutty thing?
Slutty.
Oh, I think you said a little slutty thing.
No.
I was like, don't call her a little slutty thing.
No. She was covered head to toe. She wasn't showing anything other than her form, which is, you can't do. Can't wear form fitting.
Right. Well, no, this was head first. Down, I think it's the same track as the luge, but it's head first.
On a little teeny tiny thing.
Yep.
Watched her wipe out.
Alrighty then.
Well, you said slutty clothing. No, I didn't say slutty clothing.
Well, hey, how about that? That is our topic for today.
Appalling apparel in the cult. Yes, that is our title today, about the clothing and holy garments and things that go on there.
But before we get into that, we need to do our section of culty corrections and updates. What do you got?
I did find out if anybody, we have an update on the assassin snails.
Okay.
I still really need assassin snails, and I'm cheap, and Prime shipping.
No Prime shipping.
No Prime shipping because it's a live animal, and that's not included. So, please, anybody who has assassin snails, please let me know.
And I guess you guys probably heard in our intro, we now have some music underneath it. So, yay. And thank you so much to Matt. He is from the podcast Legend in My Spare Time. He very graciously volunteered to do that for us. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you. As always, most people, when the first thing you think cult is
Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. And again, here we think you should drink the Kool-Aid. So we do have the Kool-Aid contest. And Karen,
she actually emailed us.
She emailed us on our website, Simply Sunshine. And it's simply delicious.
It is.
Lemon Kool-Aid, Mountain Dew for the fizz, and some lemon-flavored vodka. Chill, drink.
And it's pretty good.
And it's fizzy.
It's really good.
It is
fizzy.
very good. Very good. All right. We're talking about the appalling apparel today at the cult. And I can tell you is everything. It changed. It changed over time, over the years. And
you said it was a slow change. It wasn't something that was...
It's always a slow change.
Okay, so it's kind of like you didn't really even know.
You kind of did because...
But it wasn't drastic, though.
No, and as I had mentioned before, I said, what's a couple of inches? What does it matter? And you died. Yeah, you could, I remember you could...
No comment.
You could wear shorts and a nice tank top. And over the years, it went to your tank top has to be an inch. It has to be 2 inches. No tank tops. It has to be sleeveless. And then it went to the 3/4 sleeve. Then it went to a regular sleeve. And then all the way down to today, you can't see anybody's wrists. So it was it was progressive. It was very, very progressive. And every feast, they would give you like a 1-sheeter.
Is that like the one that I have here?
Yes. When you came on the feast grounds, you were handed your packet, your feast grounds packet.
Okay.
It had the guide to the clean and the unclean foods.
Which is one episode that will be coming up.
Correct. It had instructions for when the different classes were. It was just a whole bunch of paperwork for you so you would know what to do. But one of them was actually a dress code apparel. Okay,
and this one, you said this was like towards the end of when you left? Or
I think that was the very last one. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So it says here, let's see, we'll start with acceptable skirt length for holy women. Okay. It says skirt or dress length should reach to at least the middle of the calf, even when sitting.
Which means it has to be almost to your ankles when you're standing, because it
it'll
goes
ride up
up
on you.
4 or 5 inches when you sit.
Because, well, here it is. It says, make sure when trying on dresses or skirts that they are long enough when sitting down.
Yes.
So sit down in that dressing room.
Oh, as you notice, it says dresses or skirts because they had taken pants away from us by then.
Well, you told me, I think you said in one of the episodes about the zippers and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, you'll have to go, anybody who is interested, go back and listen. I'm not sure which one it is. But when they took our pants away, and we could no longer have pants.
Because they didn't want you to become male or something.
It would make us think we had a penis.
And you don't want that.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
All right. So now it says, skirts and dresses should also hang loosely on a woman as to not reveal the shape or form of her body.
Exactly.
Because we don't know what a female shape is, right?
Well, they don't want men lusting after people.
Okay. So now it says, it is recommended that all slits in skirts or dresses are pinned or sewed. For further information, obtain the pastor's sermon on not dressing in the ways of the world.
Yes, you're not supposed to dress like a slut. You got to be all covered up. You can't show anything.
Oh my God. Okay, well, here moving on to that says pants or capris for women. Pants must be loose-fitting. They should not expose the shape and outline of a man or woman's body.
This must not be one from the last ones I went to because they took our pants
Oh, that's
away.
right. Okay, so this is a little bit earlier.
It has to be earlier.
Okay. Shorts should be avoided for adults and children.
That they had taken the shorts away, and that was down to where you could wear the capris only.
Okay, because now it says loose-fitting capris or pedal pushers that reach to the mid-calf or longer when sitting are acceptable.
Correct. And we have actually a picture here that we're going to post on Instagram and Twitter later.
And those are some snazzy pants you got on there.
Hey, it was 2001, and you could wear any colored t-shirt with this, okay? But we're standing outside in Israel at the Dead Sea where the spa is. My ex, me, and my mom. And you can tell my mom's wearing shorts because she's...
Ooh, not allowed.
Well, she wasn't on cult property or around them, so she didn't really care.
Now, why would you not wear shorts?
I didn't own any by then. My ex burnt them all.
Okay. Oh, so you were with your ex, so you couldn't even go to a store and buy shorts and say the hell with it because he was with you.
Correct.
Right? Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he's got his shirt on that goes all the way down to his elbows and things.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, the guys would buy bigger clothing so that you couldn't see their masculine form either.
Right, we don't want that manly physique showing.
Anyway, on a funny note, this particular spa, if you ever go to the Dead Sea, they have an indoor building that is all natural hot spas. They're hot springs, okay? They have co-ed ones where you could go in, and they're all
I'm sure
labeled.
The cult would be against that.
Right. Me and my mom actually had to go into the women's only, no. And then there was a men's only, but there were two different kinds. There was men's only that all of the men had bathing trunks on.
Okay.
Then there was men only, and they was all naked.
Okay.
Naked as jabbers.
Alrighty.
And the women's was like that too. There was a naked one where you could go in with nothing, or you could wear your bathing suit or whatever. Well, that was the last thing that you did, was you went into the hot... After you went out into the Dead Sea, you got all mudded up.
Right.
Washed all the mud off in the Dead Sea, and then you went into the spas and sat in these hot springs. Well, I took my glasses off and I set them on a ledge.
Oh my God, I think I know where this is going.
Well, it felt so good in the hot springs that I stayed there until my mom was dressed and she's going, hurry up, the bus is leaving in 10 minutes. So I drug myself out of the hot springs. I got showered real quick, got dressed, and I'm halfway to the bus and I went, oh shit, I left my glasses. And I can't see. And I mean, the rooms were clearly labeled, whether it was a men's
right
community. Anyway, yeah, I went running into the naked men one by accident.
I thought you were going to say that's where you were to begin with.
No, I ran into, because I was confused and I was trying to get back to the bus before they left me, and I can't see to begin with, so I go running into the naked man hot tub thing. And here's all these men, and it was like a whole 3 to 5 seconds that, like, I'm stood, like, frozen like a deer in the headlights. They're all staring at me, and then all of a sudden they start covering up their junk and screaming at me.
Gosh.
And giving these angry hand motions towards the door and screaming in foreign languages, and I just went, ah! I screamed and went running out. And
Did you get your glasses?
I found my glasses and barely made the bus, yes. Yeah, so if you ever visit those spas over at the Dead Sea...
Don't go into the naked man one.
If you're a naked man and you want to be in the naked man one, I'm sure you can. But if you're a woman, they don't like it very much. Because, again, Old Testament, I'm breaking their laws. I am looking at their nakedness.
But you couldn't see their nakedness. You didn't have your glasses on. So technically...
Well, they didn't know that.
Well...
And I could see enough nakedness. I mean, and let me tell you, that's the first time I saw really old man nakedness.
I was just going to say, I can't imagine that would be a fantastic sight.
Okay, you know how our boobs kind of like
sag
over the years?
You know what? Stop.
Let's just say naked man junk is not pretty to look at.
Oh, dear
Old
God.
naked man. There were some,
you had to say that.
Well, there were some young, good-looking ones there, too. I mean, there was
But how could you see them? You couldn't see them.
I was up close enough. I mean, I couldn't...
Oh, my God. Wait, how up close were you to these naked men?
I was probably...
What the hell were you doing?
Looking for my glasses. I went
running... Were you like a Velma on Scooby-Doo? Like, I can't find my glasses.
Pretty much. And I thought it was the room I had been in, and I just went running in and did, like, the skidding to a stop. And, well, the closest naked man was probably about 4 or 5 feet away. And he was an old naked man.
No, stop. Just stop. Move on to the next topic.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, you know what? There's something here. It says acceptable dress for children. It says children who are old enough to play away from their parents need to be in the dress code.
Correct.
Okay. Then it says, it is a great idea to begin practicing with children at an early age to teach them the dress code. We must train up our children in the ways of God and teach them to wear modest apparel.
Yes, it got to the point that the little girls, whenever they wore dresses, they had pants on underneath.
Was it like Little House on the Prairie stuff?
Kind of. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But they got to take into putting pants on the little girls underneath their dresses, because if they're playing or something,
right. Okay.
You can't see up underneath. Yeah, the clothing for the kids, even the holy garments, like, you had to wear your holy garments in the sanctuary. You were committing an offense if you didn't, and that even included the kids. Showed you a picture here of my son at one of the feasts.
Okay.
And he is about 1.5 years old, and he is standing next to his little friend who is about 2.
Okay.
His little friend has the kippah, holy garment, on his head.
And that's like almost like a yarmulke.
Yes.
Okay.
But my son doesn't have one. Now, that was only acceptable because he's not even 2, and he didn't have enough hair to hold for the clips to hold it in.
Oh, okay.
The same for the little girls. If they didn't, because some babies have such fine hair.
Right.
And you can't, but a lot of mothers would buy the really big headscarves, and then they would wrap them like turban style entirely around the baby's head.
Oh.
So most all the girls always had one on, but the little boys, they just kept falling off.
Right.
During services when they're supposed to be sitting, you're supposed to keep trying to keep it on your kid, but it didn't always work. So that's the only time it was acceptable to not have the holy garments on you.
Okay.
Some people walked around with them constantly.
Why? Never mind. Why? Never mind. Okay, I do have to make a comment about this where it says outward adorning for holy men or women. And it says beautiful robes and caftans are acceptable and encouraged for holy women. So they want you to go to Omar the tent maker and basically wear tents.
In the end, I wasn't there for when they got for the total covering. I've been long gone.
So you didn't wear a caftan?
Well, yeah, I was telling you in the picture.
Like Mrs. Roper? Remember from Three's Company?
Yes, I do. I bet you Mrs. Roper would have wore these pedal pushers.
She would have worn these caftans, man.
Yes. But yeah, that's a caftan pants that I'm wearing in the picture. And as for the robes were there so that you could cover yourself and not be lusted after.
Well, we don't want that. And it says here, for information on dressing according to your gender, obtain the sermon dated, and it gives a date. So apparently this paper doesn't describe it enough. Like, you might have questions.
You could not wear clothing that was made for the opposite sex. Like, I could not wear boys' pants, even though they fit me, because they were made for boys.
How about, like, a guy's t-shirt?
If it was in the men's section, no.
How would they know?
You would know, and you would know if you were sinning.
So I bet you wore men's t-shirts because you didn't care.
I actually had a couple of my ex-husband's favorites
I
would wear. Yeah. You couldn't even. As for the men's clothing and the women's clothing, it was, like I said, biblical, down to the point of, at one point we had to look at the tags, because you can't wear garments made of mixed fabric. You can't have spandex or lycra in with your cotton.
Why?
Because it's biblical.
Where in the Bible does it say you can't wear spandex?
Okay, I'm going to have to Google this right now. So you pause that for a second and we'll be right back. Well, we didn't even have to pause that. It came right up.
All right, what's it say?
Deuteronomy 22:11, do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together.
It says nothing about spandex.
It says you're not supposed to wear stuff woven together. It had to be one kind of cloth. Complete cotton, complete silk. Don't ask me. I didn't make the rules up, and I didn't write the Bible. Oh, I'm sorry, scripture book.
Scripture book. I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. So, wait, how long were you there before they were like, oh, wait, let's follow this?
That was towards the end.
Okay.
Towards the end is when they started getting really nitpicky about a lot of stuff. And I was like, okay, you've known this stuff for 25 years.
Right. I mean, it's been in the Bible there for how long?
Why are you just implementing it now?
Right.
Of course.
And wait, you were telling me something about used clothing.
Yes. You were not allowed to give hand-me-downs to anybody, even a brother or a sister.
So wait, if you had, like, say you had 3 daughters, you couldn't pass the clothes down?
No. No.
Why?
Because the clothing, your skin cells fall off and stuff. And anyway, the DNA is not their DNA.
Oh my God.
We were actually told to not shop in thrift shops anymore, because I could buy a dress and wear it, and it belonged to a woman who was an adulteress. And her DNA is going to be rubbing all over me. And the next thing you know, I'm going to be cheating on my husband because I wore clothing that had adulterous DNA in it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, well, of course. You couldn't even loan somebody something. Like, if you came to my house and you were cold.
Right.
It got to the point I couldn't even say, here's a sweater.
Really?
Right, because I might have bad DNA. That's why you couldn't adopt children.
Because I've heard the DNA, like, it seeps out of the pores. Yeah, and it's catchy.
I couldn't tell you. So, yeah, it's real catchy.
But not even to... That just is so weird that you couldn't have your kids wear hand-me-downs. I mean, everyone does that.
Well, everybody's different. And what if your oldest child grows up to be a pedophile, but your youngest child isn't? But now you made your youngest child wear your oldest child's clothes, and now he's infected with pedophile DNA.
Oh, my God.
Yes. Sometimes I'm sitting in these classes, and I'm going, do you people even science?
No, they don't.
Even if you go and buy something new, unless you buy it in the plastic, there's no guarantee somebody didn't even try it on.
Right, right. It's almost like they would sit down with something that made scientific sense and say, how can we screw this up and make such nonsense out of it? I mean, it's almost like what they did.
Well, they do. I mean, the Bible was written by people who didn't know where the sun went at night.
No, I'm talking about the people in the cult.
Oh, well, people in the cult are going by a book written by people who didn't know, where the sun went at night.
But this guy, these elders had to know what DNA was. I mean, really. I mean, honestly.
Well, I don't know if they made these rules up to make our lives more difficult. I know they tried to keep a lot of people in poverty because the more you're in poverty, the harder it is to get out.
Right, and the more you need them.
Exactly. And I don't know if the clothing had something to do with that or not, but DNA was they had a DNA and a bunch of other things they had no real grasp on, but they threw it in there. Apparently. Well, like I've said before about the chickens or eggs in the store are bad because they have cholesterol in them because they're sexually frustrated. I have no idea where these elders would, or even the leader would come up with these ideas.
It's like they sat around getting drunk one night, like, hey, what's the most asinine thing we can come up with?
I honestly think that sometimes that they would. I do know that the leader was overheard to hear that one day that those people would do anything he told them to do.
So he knows it was a bunch of shit. He knew.
And somebody else overheard, what can I make them do next?
See, that's what I'm saying. So they knew damn well.
It was a power trip.
But they knew damn well what DNA was. And they knew damn well that it doesn't, like, it's not catchy.
Well, not only that, even if it was catchy, even if it would turn you into a whatever, don't you think you could wash it and the skin cells come off?
Right.
Or is it like magic DNA juice that sticks to everything? But then again, they did come out with the no contact rule, that you couldn't touch each other. You couldn't give hugs.
Well, what if you were having sex to have children because
that's different.
Oh, that's different.
That is different.
How?
Because in everyday life, in the sanctuary, on the grounds, if I came to your house, touching was discouraged.
Like, you couldn't even give someone a hug, like, hey, how you doing?
You weren't supposed to. You weren't supposed to, because it would transfer the DNA.
Oh, my God.
And not only that, what if a guy saw me and you hugging? He might get aroused. I mean, everything comes, it's a pedophile place out there. And it's a lot to do with sex, control. They control everything, down to what you wear. I know from a friend of mine that after I left, they came up with another rule. There's a whole wall that when you walk in, it's shoes.
Wait, walk into where?
Into the sanctuary.
Okay.
There's shoes. You have to purchase a pair of shoes or slippers that have...
What's wrong with your own?
They were on the outside defiled ground.
Oh, God.
Where you could have stepped in spit or dog poop or whatever. And so you have to leave your shoes outside.
But you had to buy these other ones?
You had to purchase... I don't think you had to purchase them through them, but you had to purchase a pair of shoes or slippers that had never touched the outside ground.
All right.
And when you took your shoes off outside, you got in line and you walked through this like trough of, it was water that had...
Oh, that's so gross.
That had lye in it. It was lye water.
Oh, that is so disgusting.
And then after you got out of the lye water, you dry your feet off and you put on your shoes, your sanctuary shoes.
Okay.
So that you're not defiling the inside of the sanctuary.
Isn't lye like really bad for your skin?
I've heard a couple of people, it burnt their skin because there was too much of it in there.
Right. I mean, it's like a cleaning agent or something.
They used to make old-time fashioned soap with lye, but if you put too much in it, it's caustic.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, there was a few people that I had heard that there was too much lye in there, and they actually got, burns on their feet from it.
And what did the cult have to say about that? Nothing?
I don't know. I wasn't there at the time.
Okay.
This was just stuff I've heard over the years since I've left about the different rules and things that they've changed. And you can no longer you can't even own stuff that you can't wear anymore. Like, I used to have, we had a swimming pool in our backyard.
Okay.
And I would host pool parties for my friends. And we could all be wearing our bathing suits and stuff.
And that was okay to show skin?
It was only us. There was no men.
Oh, so it was just women?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, if we were having a co-ed pool party, we had to be wearing our pedal pushers and
like
t-shirts.
The 1800s bathing suits?
Yes.
Seriously?
Seriously. Men.
Like the bloomers and the...
You had to wear...
Oh, my gosh.
You had to wear acceptable clothing. Even the men, they had to
No
go.
Speedos.
No, they had to wear their pants or their pedal pushers
What?
and a t-shirt. They couldn't even show their bare chest when we were around.
Oh my gosh.
Now, if it was just Kenny and his friends, they could strip down to their Speedos.
Gotcha. Okay, so because it was
There's
just
no
men.
women.
Gotcha. And then the women, if it was all women,
Yes.
could wear bathing suits.
Yes.
Okay.
That changed, of course, after I left, but for the time that I was there, but I don't even think they were allowed to own a bathing suit anymore.
So are you allowed to swim anymore? Do you know? I mean,
I have no idea. I haven't been there in a while. I haven't talked to our inside connection since the last time I announced that we had one.
well, you need to ask that person about swimming.
I'm sure they probably can still go swimming, but they just have to be completely covered. So, and actually, completely uncovered is the best kind of swimming. Naked swimming, if you ever get the chance to do it, I totally give it 3 thumbs up.
And I'm sure the cult would approve of that.
Nobody ever knew.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, and the only people to this day that know are people that I've personally told, and now whoever listens to us. Yeah, but keep doing backflips under the water over and over and over, and it's just so cool. Naked swimming, I recommend it. Anyway, it was the feast times was everybody was dressed to the nines. Everybody dressed their best.
Okay.
Especially the Passover Seder meal.
Now, are these are like clothing you would never wear anywhere else, right? Just to feast?
Well, if you bought it with second tithes, you could only
what's that
wear
mean?
it. Well, first tithe that's your first 10%. Second tithe is your second 10%.
Okay.
And that's supposed to go to the widows and or no, that's your feast money. That's your money that's set aside for your feasts to get there.
Okay.
To pay you had to pay to be there.
Of course.
Whether you had to rent a campsite, whether you rented a trailer, whether you pulled your trailer in and paid the lot fee. Now I forget where I'm going.
About the feasts and what you're wearing at the feast.
Yeah.
And I asked you, I said, are these things that you would never wear any other time?
Second tithe, if you bought something with second tithe, it could only be used during the feast. Because it is bought with money that is meant for the feast.
Okay.
So our feast trailer, I could go out and buy a brand new pots and pan set, a brand new dishes set. I could buy whatever I wanted with the second tithe.
Okay.
But I could only use it during the feast. Which meant it would have to stay on the feast grounds.
You couldn't take it with you.
No. And even when the feast ends, and I might be there for a day or two afterwards helping to clean up, you could technically use it, but you weren't supposed to because it was bought with second tithe. Now, the dress that I take, for show and tell,
right,
the one
that we had at the meetup.
Yes, that was bought with second tithe, and it was bought specifically for a certain Seder meal when we came back. I bought that over in Israel.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, that came directly from Israel. I picked it out. Gives me the
heebie-jeebies
thinking about it. And it did come in all different kinds of colors, but I figured I wanted to be morbid and wear black. Black and gold.
Now, could you wear any colors? Or did they...
Did
they prefer a certain color, or was it just as long as it was kind of fancy?
No, but one feast, the leader declared that they were all perfect and that they were ready for the kingdom. And I never understood this one. Apparently, pure gold is clear. Don't ask me how that works. Okay? The streets of heaven are paved in gold that is so pure you can see through it. Anyway, they called they had a commercial. I so wish I'd saved it because they had their own YouTube channel.
Oh no, they didn't.
And it was
my
funny.
God. Is it still out there?
I'll have to look for it.
Oh my God.
But they have their own productions. And this one starts out with me calling you going, Laura, did you hear? Did you hear? We made it. We made it. We're all golden. We get to wear gold. And you get all
and
excited.
I'm all excited, like, what?
And then you're like, I got to tell so-and-so. So then it cuts to you.
Calling somebody
else and giving the news. And I actually saw pictures from that feast. They dyed everything because the religious garments, the kippas, the talits, everything is linen, okay? Now they're all dressed in gold for this feast.
Okay.
The leader looks like he's decked out in a mustard yellow pimp suit. I am going to have to try and find.
Oh my God, you got to find that.
I am going to have to try, but he looks like he's in a mustard yellow pimp suit.
Oh my God.
And it was just so sad because everybody bought a new head covering that was gold colored. And I mean, the way they would get you to waste money. I was gone by then, but a friend of mine, her job was to go to different resale shops.
I thought you weren't allowed to.
Exactly.
Oh.
Her job was to go around to different, like the Goodwill and Salvation Army, and buy these, like, fancy women's shoes.
Okay.
And they were spray painting them with gold spray paint and turning around and selling them in their shop.
Okay, so
for like $25 a pair.
Okay, now you're not supposed to buy anything used, right?
Exactly.
Now I'm sure that the soles of the shoes were scuffed. How did they explain that?
I don't know. I just know that they were taking, like, you wear a size 8. I don't know. I'm just guessing. You wear a size 8, okay? You go into the general store and you're looking and you don't see any size 8 shoes in gold. Okay. So you can...
Because why would you?
Because then you can request, can you see if you can find me a pair of 8s?
And they would go to the Goodwill.
And they would find a pair of just... You're a shoe fanatic. I mean, think of any of your shoes that are fancy that, like, have cutouts or the heels.
Right, but once they're worn, you can see on the bottom. I mean, you can tell when they're worn. Even if they're worn once, the bottom is, of the shoe is scuffed.
I wasn't there. I don't know. I just know that they were selling a lot of used spray-painted shoes.
Even though the DNA is going to be catchy, right?
They skirted their way around stuff. Maybe the paint on it, magically made a barrier to keep the DNA from getting on you. I don't know.
Oh my God. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, gold painted shoes and gold kippas and gold. And everybody tried to find gold colored dresses. I know the leader's suit was specifically tailored for him and dyed that color. And seriously, mustard pimp. That's all I could think of.
Oh my God. You've got to find a picture of that.
The thing is I used to keep up with their Facebook page, and
the cult's Facebook page.
Yes, they actually have a current Facebook page.
Do they still have it?
They do, but again, they changed it.
Are you able to get on there without them knowing who you are?
I am, but there's nothing but a bunch of gibberish.
Oh, okay.
They used to have pictures. Somebody, I guess, was in charge of the Facebook page. And I used to troll their page only for the simple fact of my son was there. Could I catch a glimpse of him? Could I catch a glimpse of him? Excuse me. And I did. I actually have one screenshotted picture that I have of him sitting, I guess, after... I don't know what all the children were doing, but there's probably 15 or 20 of them. It looked like they had bagged lunches. Maybe he was working. I'm not sure. But, I used to troll their page. And that's where I saw the mustard yellow feast pictures.
Did you screenshot that?
I did not. If I would have known that they would have taken all of the pictures off. It is now just, there's no pictures. It's a generic little icon thing. And it just has scriptures. Or I guess you're supposed to pray every hour now or something. But, have you done your hourly prayer? Have you done your evening prayer?
If you're so busy praying, you don't have time to be on Facebook.
I couldn't tell you. I'm kind of horrified that there's a couple of people I'm friends with on Facebook that are ex-cult members that liked their page. They follow their page. And it's like, why? That's creepy. And I never asked, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, their Facebook page isn't much. I don't even go on it anymore. It does no benefit to me at all. It's just scriptures and have you done this? Have you done that? It's
But does it
nothing.
kind of like freak you out too, though? That like, I don't know, seeing that's the page of where you spent 10 years?
No, I did it because, like I said, I was looking for my son.
Okay.
I don't follow them. I don't like their page. None of that stuff. So
Do they have a Twitter account?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even Twitter before this. I don't think I've Twittered yet.
I need to find out if they have a Twitter account because that would be amazing.
Okay. I'm sure they do. They probably have an account for everything.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to go on and find that.
Okay, well, I will help you look. Guess the only other thing I have to say about the clothing would be you'd look to the elders' wives to see pretty much what was coming next. When they
So
stopped,
they like set the stage for...
subliminally, yes.
Okay.
Like when they took away the sleeveless shirts, you knew because all of the elders' wives, not one of them was wearing a sleeveless shirt.
Okay.
It's like they got the memo before us.
Gotcha.
And subliminally, they're all doing it already. And then when the entire congregation turns around and does it, we're all the same. After I left, they put the veils on, and so people couldn't... They said it was so people couldn't lust, and for the fact of, if I'm an unclean woman and I'm talking to you, spittle might get on you.
But the guys don't have to wear this.
Some of the men were...
Really?
Actually, I remember before I left, like I said, most of the elders' wives were wearing the veils.
Okay.
And I do remember a few elders wearing them, but they were just simple squares of black that had like an elastic on them that went around your head.
But I'm shocked that the men had to wear it, or the men were wearing it. That's...
Only the elders I saw, and I only think that's because they were trying to stay in a complete state of cleanliness.
Oh, brother.
And they could also become unclean from a man.
What?
If a man disobeyed and had sex with his wife during the feast,
Okay.
he is now considered unclean. So now if that unclean man is talking to one of the elders and spittle flies out and the other man inhales it.
Oh, for God's sake.
So that's the few elders that I saw, because I questioned. And that's
Okay.
what I was told, is they were in a heightened state of cleanliness.
Now, how would an unclean guy get clean?
He just has to wait. He has to do the ablution thing. Okay, that we've talked about.
So a simple shower just doesn't cut it.
No. Well, he has to shower, and then he has to fill the tub with water. Then he has to get naked, put his holy garments on, say his prayers, and do his ablution before sunset. Anytime before sunset. It doesn't have to be... Most people do it right before.
Does it have to be like the Friday before Sabbath or any sunset?
Any sunset.
Okay.
So your husband has sex with you, and he has to go see the pastor the next morning. So he had sex with you this morning. So then he goes and showers, does his ablution, says his prayers, and when the sun goes down, he's clean. And he'll stay clean until he's defiled by somebody or something.
A woman, probably, right?
Well, lots of things can defile you. A dead body, a dead animal. We were laughing about dead insects. I mean, becoming...
Really? So like a dead fly?
Yeah, supposedly if you touch a dead fly, you're defiled. I mean, it was just hysterical, some of the things that they did and the lengths that they took it to. So...
But like, death is a part of life, especially with I mean, come on, a fly?
Apparently it made you unclean. And death is, if you died this morning, you would have to be buried by sunset.
Wow.
And the trick was to not die, like... The trick is to not die, like, an hour before sunset.
Yeah, because that would really suck.
It really did suck for a bunch of people because there were certain people that
Were they running around with shovels?
They have a backhoe.
Oh my gosh.
But they did have their own cemetery. All of the stones just simply said the leader's last name. You have no idea who's buried where. Sometimes they couldn't do the body into 24 hours because it was somebody that would be missed. And by missed, I mean they had a job in the outside world. They still had family.
Okay.
But we had a lot of people that were in the country illegally. And they basically stayed on the properties. Things were gotten for them. There was really no reason for them. So if somebody like that died, they weren't going to be missed. So they were given the sunset burial before sunset.
Wow. And let me guess, no autopsies, right? Of any kind.
No, there was something odd going on with that too, because our one member was hit on his way to the sanctuary. I don't know why he was going there.
Hit with what?
A car.
Oh, okay.
And another former member actually witnessed the one security guy drive up in his station wagon, and he waited for the coroner. The coroner came, did his report.
No, wait, is this the coroner like for the town, or did you guys have your own like makeshift coroner?
No,
like, was it a real coroner?
This was a real coroner that would show up at any accident scene where there's a gruesome death.
Okay.
Or any kind of death.
Okay.
But the coroner logged the death, the whole 9 yards, and instead of taking the body, the head of security and the guy he brought with him, they were allowed to put the body in the back of the station wagon. And that's one of the people that's buried in.
Oh, wow.
Because no, he wouldn't be missed. He was from Mexico, had no family, the whole 9 yards. So they didn't even have to. And I guess, the coroner knew what was going on out there. I mean, why else would they be allowed to take the body? I don't. That one still puzzles me to this day.
I'm just surprised that because there was no contact with the outside world, why would they even call a coroner?
Because he got hit on the way to the sanctuary. He was on a 70-mile-an-hour road.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that
not everybody lives there.
Okay, I got you.
And this guy didn't drive. He rode a bicycle everywhere he went. It didn't matter if it was 20 miles away. He rode the bicycle.
Okay, and he was on like a main road.
He was on a main road, and he got clipped by a teenager that wasn't paying attention,
man.
And he died. And he got stuffed into a station wagon and buried. It's rumored that they're buried 2-3 deep in the same hole.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I don't know. So
I'm sure they are.
I'm tired of talking about them and death because it saddens me about how many people that don't really get a proper burial or are gone and nobody's going to miss them.
Or I was going to say, or just like the blatant disregard of a human life. Like, let's just dump this person in this grave.
Exactly. I guess that's about all I have to say about clothing and the unexpected death and everything else we talked about.
Well, I know you were going to talk about, what is it, like the holy garments, but we'll do that some other time.
Yeah, we ran out of time.
Because that's like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I used to work in the sweatshop, making the holy garments. It was all women until it was, anyway. We're going to pick for next week what our topic is going to be.
Okay, hang on here a minute.
You gotta shake the Kool-Aid.
Hang on here a minute.
Okie doke.
All right.
And we're gonna pull out, I've been waiting for this one.
What?
The after effects that still I have to deal with.
Ooh, kind of like PTSD.
Yes.
Oh. And
for me, it's continuing because my son's still there. Certain things bother me. There's certain things I can't do. And it affects everybody differently. So.
Right. And I can imagine that just doesn't go away very quickly. Or maybe not at all.
Some things are easier to manage than others, but we're going to get into that next week. I'd like to thank everybody for listening.
And before you guys hit the stop button, we want to tell you about another podcast. So here is a message from everyone over at Who's Your Homicide.
Hey everybody, this is Danielle.
And this is Daniel.
And I'm Carla, and we are Who's Your Homicide?
A true crime podcast by Hoosiers for Hoosiers, or for anyone that doesn't know what a Hoosier is.
Wait, you don't know what it is?
Nope.
Oh.
Shit.
I'll look it up, I promise.
Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Or Wikipedia. I trust Urban Dictionary more than I trust Wikipedia.
We're True Crime for Indiana. Where do they find us, Carla?
We are at Hoosier Homicide. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Again, that's at Hoosier Homicide.
Download us on iTunes. Like, rate, review, subscribe.
Get on it.